Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. That's what. Let's start like after you get out the ER, after the debut, you get out the ER.
Yeah,
Tell us how you're feeling. Like how the body felt, all of the stuff after that performance, man. Because it was a great performance, I thought.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, body was feeling good. Honestly, I've had bad weight cuts, not that bad, obviously before, but and I've had fights where I felt beat up. So honestly, I was more on top of the cloud. I was on cloud nine mentally. That I was like, man, I don't care how my body felt. And it's honestly, it's better if you can walk. I guess my brain is like, my face is beat up and my insides hurt a little bit, but it's better with than like when I've left fights, like the Evan Cuts fight, the second one I had, where I just threw a lot of kicks and then I ended up hitting his shin one time and I was limping after the fight. And I'm like, man, that's more of a pain in the ass because I can't walk around.
Mhm.
So honestly, as long as my legs are good, I'm like, I don't care. I'll deal with the bruising and the cutting. And you can tell I got a bunch of scars. So yeah, I was just on cloud nine, man. I wish I won the fight, but cloud nine with the performance I put on, and to know that I could take his punches at the most tired and most vulnerable in that third round.
Yeah. I think under the circumstances, I think a lot of people will forget the circumstances and you just see the result, on paper. But if you know the circumstances and watch the fight, man, you proved that you're a top 50 fighter, don't you think?
I agree. I think I did too. But now I gotta work up towards that ranking. I definitely I could have got the win if I had a little more time of preparation, a little bit more time to cut weight, or even was in fight shape, which I was none of the above. So um, it's all right. It happens. I got a lot of hate from people like saying, "I don't know how you think you won the fight without ground and pound and this and that." And I'm like, man, they don't understand the rules of MMA. For one, two, yeah, I could have thrown more strikes. I could have done more on top, but they don't know the circumstances that were surrounding me showing up and making that fight. So uh, I think I conserved a little energy by not throwing strikes, and I did that consciously. And that was the most vulnerable you're going to catch me in a UFC fight from now on.
All right, before we get into your upcoming fight against Mickey Gall, you were booked to fight Preston Parsons. Can you take us to that situation and what happened with that?
Yeah, I was supposed to fight Preston Parsons, and I think just like so after the JDM fight, I had a splint because I fractured my wrist and I refractured it, and then I had to get surgery on my knee, so I was out for a little bit with those, and I think and it wasn't out too long, and I really wanted to fight again, so it might have played into me getting rushing back and getting back into everything too soon and going too hard, trying to really go full gung ho with everything and really like be ready for the next fight again. So I ended up having the knee injury, and then I tried to honestly not pull out, but at first it was like it got back to Sean Shelby that I had seen a doctor and used the UFC medical stuff to be able to get the knee resolved and figure out what it was. So at first it wasn't pulled, and then I told the wrong person that I had a couple injuries that I was working through to see if I can make it to the fight, and then they ended up talking a lot, and then it got back to the matchmaker, and he had to pull the fight at that point. And so I wasn't happy about it. Ideally, I wanted to, make it to the fight. I haven't had many pullouts for reasons of I just don't believe in that. Like I like to tough it out and try and make it to the fight. And so I had to pull out of that fight, and I was ready March. I was ready short after. Once I let the knee heal up, and I just kept my diet good and stayed smart with everything. But the opportunity that came was Mickey Gall June 1st. He wasn't able to do sooner. He needed more time. He needed till June 1st, and so that's the fight I took, and here we are. Almost a year later from my UFC debut, not by design.
Probably the longest year of your life, right?
Yeah, man. Especially I like the bonus made a huge help. I paid off a lot of debt with that because I was in major debt. But the past 5 months have been long because it's been like I've been ready and I've been just training and trying to stay healthy and making sure I don't have another pullout. And it's like a lot of times you catch yourself with those longer camps like getting re-injured because it's so long and it's like you have too much time. Honestly, if the Parsons fight happened sooner instead of the date it was supposed to happen, I would have been ready. It's just the way things happen, and so I'm happy I stayed healthy. I got into better shape. I got stronger. My weight got lower. I'm already like 13 or 14 pounds lower than I was when I took the JDM fight. So I'm super prepared for this fight, and I cannot wait, man. A week and 6 days, counting the days.
Paying off the debt. How much of a weight was released from your shoulders, man, by doing that?
That feeling is I wish that feeling upon every human being that is in major debt. I do, man, because it's such a feeling to pay off the debt that is like weighing you down and destroying your credit score. In this country, you need to have a good credit score to do anything. And yeah, it was a huge relief, man. It changed my life, honestly, because I think the reason I lost most of my hair was from that debt. And so, it was a good feeling, man. You know, Thankful for the UFC with the bonus. Obviously, you wish the bonus was more, but I'm grateful for the bonus and the opportunity they gave me. And it did change my life. It did truly change everything about my life from every aspect, even from my mentality on fighting and everything now. It's just so much more purpose. And yeah, being not fully debt free now because I kind of built it back up a little bit with being out this long, but it's nowhere near what it was, and it feels good, man. It feels good so you can be able to live your life without stressing every day, waking up and thinking, man, what am I going to do to get this paid and get my bills paid and get this paid and do that, and I can't do this because of that, and it's like a lot of that's been lifted, so it feels good, man. I'm grateful to be the best organization in the world right now.
Yeah, it's good to hear, man. I love hearing those things come out of fighters' mouth. You know what I mean? About them like improving their life outside of like just the fighting, and how it improves their life in fighting by improving their life outside of fighting. It's great to see.
You gotta bust your ass outside of the cage, and it's not easy. It's I think we're in one of the hardest sports in the world because of if you look at the pay structure, the diet, and then what we put our body through. It is, I think, the hardest sport in the world to perform in and keep the mental aspect on a different side of it. And so, yeah, man, it's the goal of every fighter should be to be able to work your ass off and really put everything into your training and everything you can so that you can earn that paycheck. And obviously, I understand that you have to earn. Same thing with the UFC. You have to have a few fights and or work your way up to earn that. So I'm hoping that I can continue on the route that I started with the UFC with the first fight and keep growing with the organization and retire with this organization one day. I would like to be making lucrative money and be able to retire with them. That's the goal, definitely. So hopefully I'll achieve that one day.
And man, the next fight, Mickey Gall, you're kind of going into his territory. I believe he's from like Philadelphia or that area
I'm from
somewhere around.
Philadelphia.
You're from
I'm
Philadelphia.
from Philly. Yeah,
Where's he
he's from
from?
Greenbrook. I
Okay,
think
okay,
Greenbrook, New Jersey, yeah, somewhere
okay.
like that. Yeah. So it's gonna be like my hometown nearby, and I'll have some people there. But he's gonna have the arena filled probably with his Jersey people,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be enemy territory, which is something I'm not new to. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to steal his fans. Hopefully,
What do you think of Mickey Gall and the fighting style that he has?
I personally don't like him. Um, you don't hear that a lot. I competed against him 11 years ago in a grappling match. I beat him then, and I never really liked his mentality. I believe he's a sore loser and a sore person. I mean, yeah, maybe he is a good person. I just don't know him personally, but and I think that's also the fight camp. You build the hatred towards your opponent. Some people don't. I do. Even if I had liked the person's style before, I look at it like I don't like them now. And so, Mickey, I think he's had a spoon-fed entry into the UFC, and he's had gimme fights, and he's had gimme setup, and he had good pay. And I've had the opposite. I've had a long road, a hard road, and a lot of stress that's built to this point. So. I'm looking to take it all out on Mickey, and I'm excited to go in there and punch him in the face, and I can't wait to just go in there and feel him and punch him and just be right in his face and hopefully break him. And I'm preparing for the best Mickey Gall. I look at it like he's been training for the past 2 years and doing everything possible to make sure he's ready for his next fight. And that's the best Mickey Gall that I'm preparing for on fight night. So I'm excited to go in there and challenge that Mickey.
He's gonna be out for more than 2 years, right? That's a long time in this game to be not fighting, not competing. What was the longest layoff of your career, and how did that layoff affect the next fight?
My longest layoff was about the same. Actually, I was out for a year and a half, and then by the time I fought, it was basically 2 years. I had back-to-back knee surgeries. I had three knee surgeries, and I had to get a career job because I wasn't making enough off fight. Where if my last fight paid me to result like to, and I didn't have enough exposure where I could continue that lifestyle. So I ended up having to leave fighting for about a year and a half, and I got like a sales job and the 9 to 5 gut grind and reminded me why I chose the career path I chose. And so when I came back, I came back strong. So, I'm preparing for Mickey to come back strong too. I think some people, they come back, it's a person to person basis. So some people come back weaker. Some people come back stronger. It really depends on each person. And so I'd be stupid to think of it like he's coming back weaker, you know. And if he does come back weaker, then cool. Then it's a quicker finish and easier fight for me. But I'm preparing for the best Mickey Gall that the UFC has seen, and the UFC is going to get the best Bassil they've seen. That's how it's going to be, and so that's what I'm ready for. So I hope that it's affected him horribly, but you never know. I'm preparing for that. That it affected him in a good way. So I know that he's going to be prepared. He's at a camp. He had enough time to prepare, and so have I. And so it's going to be a clash of two East Coast guys, and see who comes on top.
Definitely a clash of two East Coast guys. I was speaking with another Philly guy. I forgot his name, but he was telling me like, "Yo, I
I
want
was
the
probably mad
worst."
you forgot his name.
Yeah, yeah. uh, he was telling me that when he fights, right, he wants to face the weakest and the not the best version of his opponent because he just wants to go out there
Yeah.
and just crush him. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter like what their condition is because all they're gonna remember is the result of the fight, right?
I think you don't want to put yourself through the toughest moments. I mean, I put myself through a pretty tough fight with JDM with the fighting 3 days notice, 30-pound weight cut, not being in fight shape, injuries I had going in. That's probably the most vulnerable I've been going into a fight. But it's hard to say no to your dream knocking at your door. So thankful to my manager Jason House for having that connection and being able to provide it, and thank you to Sean Shelby for allowing me to make my dreams come true. It's still something that's surreal to me that I'm a UFC fighter finally. I still every day pinch myself about it. And so, yeah, you always want that's the truth. And when whoever doesn't admit that is just lying. But that's not how you prepare. I'm preparing for the best Mickey Gall. I hope the weakest Mickey Gall shows up because it makes me look good, and the fans don't know the difference. But I'm not preparing for that. I'm preparing for the best Mickey Gall that there's been, because at the end of the day, if I allowed that negative mindset to creep in, and expect him to be weak or expect him to be this, and it's like, what happens when he's not? What happens when he's ready? What happens when he's powerful? What happens when he's shutting down all of your good things that you want to do and that you planned on doing? What happens when that adversity reaches you? Are you gonna go above it and achieve what you still wanted to achieve, or are you gonna allow it to control you? And so that's how I see, man. I see it like I'm always preparing for the best opponent, the best that they've been, and I'm ready to climb that mountain. That's how I see it. I'm not looking at it like it's going to be a hill. No, it's going to be a mountain that's going to be treacherous, and it's going to be miserable. And that's why I'm in the best organization in the world, and the highest pinnacle of it, because I expect that and I'm ready for that. And that's what I prepared for.
And for training camp, basically you've done like two training camps in a row, right? For this fight, but not for this opponent.
Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, two
Um,
two training camps without a paycheck, basically.
yeah, true, true, true. That's the
Yeah,
fact. You know,
uh,
that's the sport. Um, yeah.
that's
So
the sport.
like for this training camp, is it the same cast and crew, or do you have a couple new faces that's helping you out?
I have the same guys that's been helping me out. Really, I have a good group over at Pound for Pound Muay Thai with Justin Houghton. A good group of welterweights. Been getting a lot of work with guys like Neil Magny and Dante Shiro and Ryan Charleboy, and all the guys over there. And then I go over to where Elevation was, and I think it's now Forged Fight Team at high altitude, and get good training with those guys. I do jiu-jitsu with Elliot Marshall at Easton Denver, strength conditioning with Barwis. I kind of get around. I get around everywhere I can. That's the good thing about not being locked down to a gym where it's like you have to do everything here, and it's like, yeah, some people need that because they don't have the discipline. But for me, I'm 14 years into this. I'm 32 years old. If I don't have the discipline by now, then I'm in the wrong sport. And so I like the ability to be able to go wherever I want for the best of each thing. And so I've gotten every good training with guys that I could. Justin Gaethje in the beginning of my camp, and different guys now. So it's like I've gotten all the best looks that I can get, and that I'm gonna get. And regardless, it's up to me come fight night. I have my team, I have my people that walk out with me, and at the end of the day, it's me that's in the cage once that cage door locks, and it's me that's going to be going to fight Mickey. So I'm ready. I'm super ready. He's not going to be anywhere near what JDM was, and I know that.
What do you envision for yourself in this fight? You know what I mean? Like, how do you want to perform in front of the crowd now, man? You get to be in the front of a crowd, which is great.
Yeah. I kind of feel like a crowd even at the Apex, because JDM had some people there shouting and cheering, and it kind of like you don't pay attention to that. Like to me, it's like you're in the man in the arena, you're in the middle there, and I'm not worried about the exterior noise. And so the crowd's going to be awesome. It's going to hype me up even more. But yeah, I'm super ready for the crowd and how I see it going. I'm not a big fan of sharing my game plan, but I just believe I'm better than Mickey everywhere. I faced him 11 years ago in a grappling match, and I beat him then. I'm better. He's better. I don't believe he's gotten better than me. I believe we've kind of both gotten better. Who knows if I've gotten better than him, maybe, but I know what to expect. I know he's a tough grappler. I know he tries to wrestle, and I know he can mix it in the striking a little bit. Striking's gotten better, so I'm excited to really just test myself and put on a show for the fans. But just know that when they tune in, I'm going to be in his face from the opening bell, and I'm going to be looking to try and get a finish. That's the goal, to try and get a finish and hopefully get a bonus again.
All right. A couple questions, man, outside of your fight. The first one is recently, Khalil Roundtree, he had to pull out of his fight against Jamal Hill. Huge fight, right? Massive fight, probably a
Yeah.
title shot,
Yeah.
on the line because he used a supplement company outside, like a third party supplement company, and they put some supplements in that were banned by UFC, and he got tested and I guess they found it. What do you think
Yeah.
of that whole situation of like fighters? They have Thorn, right? They have a company that they can use that the UFC provides,
Yeah,
don't they?
I think at the end of the day, like each fighter is always trying to outsmart the system, and some fighters try to outsmart it by cheating. I don't think that's every fighter. I'm not going to say that's Khalil. I don't know him personally. What I think is that a lot of fighters try to outsmart the system. Sorry, my dog just shaking like crazy. Uh, a lot of fighters, I think, try to outsmart the system and like try to find a way to really get an advantage without cheating. And I think that's what happened with him. I don't think he is a cheater per se. I think he just tried to do a little extra to try and get the most out of you. You try and do the most you can without cheating to get the most out of your body because we're in a sport where literally every minor thing you put into it and every minor thing you get out of it makes a difference of you winning the fight or not, especially with the judges because they don't really understand the sport. I feel like a lot of times, and so whether you get that little bit of cardio leads to you getting the last transition, which makes you win the round and which makes you win the fight. Um, I think that's really the end of it. It's just that there are some fighters that like to cheat or try and cheat and have been caught habitually cheating. It's the first time he got caught me in this situation, and I don't think he's an habitual cheater. Now, if it happens over and over again and he gets caught ducking USADA, like some fighters in history we know, I think that's a different story. But it's really like you can't just say, "Oh, the UFC provides Thorn, and you should just use that." It's like I get the Thorn stuff, but I also maybe like will take some vitamins here and there from Whole Foods, or I'll try and like do my own. I drink LMNTs, and it's like there's always different things. You want to get the most out of your body, like I said, the best way you can. And so a lot of times it's hard to like, oh, I gotta say that I'm taking this, and what if I just do this? And it's like you're trying to take the shortcut and just do it and just see if it comes up, And so that seems like that's what happened. I think a lot of fighters do that. It's just normal. It's in a sport that we're in where it's like it's a selfish sport. You have to look out for your best interest. And I don't think every guy tries to cheat. I think some guys try to cheat and get caught. Some guys cheat and get away with it. And then there's the guys that get caught cheating without realizing that they were cheating. And so that's really the end of it. I think. I don't think it's deeper than that. It's hard to, and it's not my place to speak that it is. He did it on purpose, But I know that fighters do that. I know that we're always trying to get the most out of our body, and we're trying to get the most out of like what we produce on fight night, and that's why a lot of these things happen. And the fans just need to understand that. It's not intentional. Like, yo, I can't wait to take this shit because I'm gonna be cheating for these people. No, it doesn't work that way for the most part. I would say.
Yeah, that's a great attitude to have. I wish most people had that attitude when stuff like this happens. Is give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? Give the fighters the benefit of the doubt because a lot of times they just want to crush everybody. You know what I mean? If any little negative attention goes towards somebody, they just want to crush them. Yeah, we should just give
Yeah, I
them a
think
benefit
it's
of the
also
doubt.
like people are sometimes they never give the benefit of the doubt. Just look at the negative things,
Mhm.
and it's like a lot of times people just want to like until it's that's the thing too. So as I've gotten older, I'm a 32-year-old man now, and I've realized like no one's invincible, and you're bound to have it happen to you at some
Mhm.
point, maybe. Depending on if you're just one of those people that has natural like ability to just not take shit, which some people don't even take protein powder,
Yeah.
and then there's people that try to take every supplement they can to get an advantage because they don't know what they should be eating outside of the protein powder, or they don't know what they should be doing in terms of recovery, and they just end up taking the wrong thing because not everyone has that knowledge. There's no like There's no like, hey, you're signed by the UFC. We're gonna run you through a crash course of the best things possible that we know about that are in this world. It doesn't work that way. And so I know I don't cheat. I've never been popped. I don't think I ever will be popped because I don't take anything that's like that.
Mhm.
But you never know. A tainted supplement like what with Ryan Garcia,
Yeah.
and the B sample it came up negative. So it's like you never know what's going to happen. You never know if a tainted test happens. You never know if one day when you took your supplements, it elevated your, whatever to a little bit that it came up like point zero. It happens like that point zero, whatever, 0.00 nanograms or
Yeah.
something. And it's like, that's not cheating. But the way they look at it is like, oh, we caught you when you were coming off of it.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's such a small amount. And it's like, well, anything could cause that. You could eat enough red meat and, it could cause certain things.
Yeah.
Although I do think it's rare that a lot of these things happen. Like it's rare. It happened with Clear Roundtree. It is rare. And he was taking something that he shouldn't have been taking apparently. So that's what did come out. But I don't think I don't think he's, you know, there's a difference between that and going to take anabolic steroids and
Yeah.
taking things that are legitimately, like I know guys that have done that and been in the training room with us, and we end up finding out that they were taking this shit, and we're like, back in Philly, we had a guy. I'm not going to go call somebody out, but he was a scumbag for doing it, and
Mhm.
I didn't really, get along with him afterwards. But he was taking legit steroids and like changed his whole structure of his head, different weight class he became, and he ended up not making it to the UFC anyway. But
Mhm.
there's different levels. Like there's
Yeah.
that, and then there's like, oh, he took a little bit something to help him recover better.
Mhm.
It's like I said, one of those things you can't pass judgment. You can have your own feelings about it, but at the end of the day, you just focus on yourself. I focus on myself. I don't care what Khalil took. I don't care what
Mhm.
if he popped. I
Mhm.
know that I'm not taking things and I'm not popping. I never have popped. And I've done a lot of random drug testing with USADA when they would come visit me at 5 a.m. and pull my blood and piss when I'm trying to sleep. And, it's something I'm not worried about. I'm worried about
Yeah.
myself. That's how I see it.
Well, June 1st, man, it's all you. UFC 302, New
Oh,
Jersey.
yeah.
It's Battle of the East Coast. Let's just say it. Battle of the East Coast. Basil, thank you, man, so much for
Philly
the
versus
time.
Jersey. PA versus
Yeah.
Jersey.
Thank you so much, man, for the time. And yeah, man, it was a phenomenal conversation, man. I loved it. And all the best in the
Thank you,
upcoming
Hon. I
fight.
appreciate you having me, man. It was a great conversation. I definitely got you. Got to give me one of those Coug shirts, man. I like that brand you got.
All right. Appreciate it.
Got to send me something out. Got to
Yeah.
rock it.
Yeah. Yeah.